Playing some poker on Club WPT. So yeah, recently I posted a video showing me me getting wrinkled on film and then wrinkles disappearing, and that couldn't be any more evident of brain-computer interface. So how come my wrinkles could disappear? Like, how come the Canadian government's causing me to be wrinkled? Like, how are they going to explain that in court? It's going to be impossible for you to explain that in court. Like that, when I show the jurors my face being mutilated right in court, why does the Canadian government allow them to mutilate my DNA? Like, clearly they're denying brain-computer interface is possible, right, to cause these problems. But when I show my face, how can they deny such a thing when they use and when they secretly use it against me at the same time? Canada has a secret profiling system, and trust me, as soon as I'm in court challenging Canada, I'm going to register every one of you. Every single one of you. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. You can't pretend to be me creating in real court, motherfuckers. I'm going to destroy you legally. Then use the harshest laws wherever. I'm most likely the emperor of the true emperor of Japan and the true king of the United Kingdom. So I'm an emperor king, and I'm gonna crush you with the power of a king or emperor worldwide. And the thing is, they could do this to me. I could do this to them. That means. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's exactly what that means. You do it to me, I'm going to do it to you. And I'm better than you at it. So my wrinkles better disappear. They can't look like Andrew from the Syria hospital. They can't look like my uncle. I shouldn't exhibit characteristics of people that are near me. You know, my uncle's 14 years older than me, so why would I want to be aged accordingly? And then once a geneticist sees my DNA, it shows that I should look biologically young forever. I have 8 abdominal muscles. You have 6 abdominal muscles. I have different organs, different muscles. So I'm gonna legally eviscerate Canada, and I'm gonna shame Canada like so hard forever. I'm almost 49 years. They could have told my parents this 49 years ago. As soon as they did blood work on me, they could have told my parents. They chose to rape us secretly instead. I haven't got sick since 2017 when I found out I had evolution. Never got COVID. I blow my nose throughout the day constantly, and I have clear mucus 100% of the time. Why would I blow my nose in the wintertime? How are they going to explain this? How are they going to explain any of this? When I prove it in court, I'm going to be able to prove it easily, very simply in court. It's going to be as simple as this. You know what? Brain-computer interface was coined in 1973, and guess what, kids? Cheap Trick wrote a song called Dream Police in 1979, and guess what? That's basically brain-computer interface. So wow, you mean celebrities were aware of a secret police program? You fucking monsters. You guys are done. I warned you. You should have picked me up a long time ago. You deny reality, and we're going to punish you. Legally. You know how many Canadians are gonna slaughter you? Once they find out who my ancestral relations are? You know, you look at the statue of Muhammad, he looks just like my dad, and I look just like Jesus. I bet you I'm related to both those men. So the Canadian government's secretly violating Jesus' main line? Wow. How many countries are gonna want to go to war against Canada based on that? Most likely. Most likely. And guess what? You know, I can predict things. I won a lottery ticket, like a scratch ticket. I specifically picked the winner. I knew I was going to pick the winner. And then I skewed the results a couple times. So I was only accurate one time out of 3 predicting the winner. I'm going to win the fucking lottery, the big lottery. You fucking morons. I can predict the lottery. And I could win the lottery. And there's nothing anybody's going to be able to do about it. Most likely I'm going to win the lottery very soon. Probably in March. I'd be able to do it any time, but they would try to make me think of past lotteries. That's the only thing that's going to skew it. But I'm going to think of current lotteries and for Canada. And I'm going to do my moves all day long. I'm just going to confirm the numbers constantly all day long and win the lottery. Then I'm going to take out advertisements and shame Canada. How are they going to explain that all these celebrities look like me? How are they going to explain that? Or my daughter? How are they going to explain that? Are they going to explain that Taylor Swift looks like my daughter and Brad Pitt looks like me? Or Caesar Romero, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra? How can they all look like Christian Eric Carney Meyer at one point in their lives and in my life? How come? How come I look identical to Edward VIII at one point? He's most likely my grandfather. Identical. When I first seen a picture of him that was a painting of him, I thought somebody painted me. When I first looked at it first, it's like, when did they do this? Wow. I thought it was me. I thought 100% somebody painted me and I was unaware of it for a split second. And Captain James Cook, the guy that discovered Australia, wow, he looks identical to me sometimes. The statue at Trafalgar Square, I seen it in 2019. It's like, holy cow, wow. My grandmother told me, because her maiden name was Cook, that we could be related to him because we had these pearl handle pistols and we had a bunch of porcelain. We had a bunch of artifacts. And so I seen the statue and I'm like, guaranteed we're related to him. Because he looked just like me. I look like a lot of people. A lot of people look like me. Even though my parents were born in different countries and I was born in a third country. My dad was born in England, my mom was born in the United States of America, and I was born in Canada. So last year when I looked at my ex-wife, I could see my half-sister in my ex-wife that I never noticed before in my entire life. How are they going to explain that once I get their DNA and I test and I show that my ex-wife and my half-sister were related? My ex-wife was adopted, right? I'm not her mom, but Okay, so they're gonna be like, okay, well that could be a coincidence that his half sister is related to his ex-wife, and they don't look alike, but every last year I got caught. I seen a family member like that. I could tell that they had mutual family members, like ancestors. Okay, so that's cool, right? Like, okay, so that's coincidence, and then it's like, okay, well, how come? What about my niece Amanda's father of her kids, Andrew? How come he looks just like me when I was in my 20s? Wow, so you mean if I tested Andrew's DNA and my DNA, we're gonna have similar ancestry? Oh, you mean my half sister has an older daughter that also has a boyfriend that looks like me, that's black, and he's gonna share common ancestors? Yeah, wow, how can they all want to have my DNA? You mean I'm gonna be able to go to court and show them that, like, my face change and get me getting wrinkled on film as I'm doing these artificial intelligence wars in my head that are preventing me from like being youthful, right? And the earwax that I have, like the color of earwax that I have, that doesn't, it looks non-human. Or yesterday when I took a picture of eye boogers that I only get when I stay at somebody's house. When I sleep on the streets, I never get any eye mucus whatsoever, virtually. Only when I stay at somebody's house, I get eye mucus. Only when I stay at somebody's house, I have green mucus when I first wake up. If I sleep on the streets, I have clear mucus every single time I go in my house. How are they going to explain that? How are they going to explain that it appears to be other people's DNA in my mucus? So with brain-computer interface, and I'm saying that people are trying to hide the culpability through my biology, so that would appear to be the fucking case, wouldn't it? If they're putting other people's DNA in my mucus. People, right? Like they're not good. I did tech support for like 5-6 years, man. I troubleshoot people's problems for them, fix their problems. In fact, they taught us Windows Vista in a month, and then we were doing tech support for it. So after a month, like when you called us for tech support, people assumed that we had a computer science degree, and that we had a degree, and we learned all about the operating system. But we learned that in 1 month. You go to school and they stretch things out. Like, sure, they could have made that a 2-year program, but in the workforce, you learn that shit in like a month. They taught me college level courses in a week. So when they taught us Windows Vista, when I was first in my program in the whole entire fucking call center, because of my aptitude and acumen. So these people that pretend they don't know what firewalls are or malware, that excuse doesn't fly, man. You don't have the technical skill set required to make an adequate decision. Mistrial. I can't wait because they do this to my kids. Just because I hugged my daughter, and most likely, and I hugged her, and she was like 13, 14, and she was developing breasts, and I thought, oh my God, my little girl's not a little girl anymore. And then her breast stopped developing because of that. She had bigger breasts at 15 years old than she does at 23. How's that possible? How is that possible without people restricting her brain from developing? When I was circumcised, they tapered my penis. They shaped my penis. They reduced it. Imagine that, reducing a baby's penis. They didn't reduce John Holmes' penis. He had a 12-inch penis. Why would they reduce my penis? How are they going to explain this? How are they ethically going to explain any of these? When they use my profile to evade detection, but then they try to punish me with their own psyche, with their own karma? How does that seem ethical whatsoever? So once the world sees exactly how capable I am, the fact that I ever had to make a sniffle, once the world sees that exactly how much heat and how much cold I could actually tolerate, the fact that I made a mistake in school is going to be suspicious the entire life. Once the world sees exactly what I could do. Like, they thought they could secretly raise me forever and kill me. They thought, like, because I'm biologically immortal, most likely. Once you see my organs and all that shit, I'd say most likely, so they can't sound crazy. But when I say most likely, like, if I have evolved human characteristics, why wouldn't I possibly have immortality? There's immortal jellyfish. Immortal jellyfish can turn themselves young in danger and become a baby again. And that's why they're immortal. I had the same capability with my brain, but the difference is I would have to consciously think about it, right? So it wouldn't be that good, right? Whereas with artificial intelligence, I could consciously think about it, and then artificial intelligence could lock it into my brain to achieve such a result. So I wouldn't have to consciously think about it, because I could change things. I could augment my body. Does my erect penis changes size? I could make it go an extra inch bigger. Just with my brain. You gotta realize, like, 2 hospitals deleted my hospital records to be able to prove start proving this. When I look up at stars, most of my life I seen a flat surface like you do. But every once in a while, these people that use brain-computer interface on me, they show me my capabilities, and just like that. So occasionally, when I look up at the stars with my natural eyes, I see them in 3 dimension. I could tell that stars are different depths apart. It doesn't look like a flat image to me. And I'd be able to prove to scientists that I could hear and see in different frequencies that nobody could hear and see in. Because they use this brain-computer interface. So I hear this click, almost like they have a dog clicker that they use to train me. But I could hear, they don't realize I could hear every time it clicks. Because there's a sexual profiling system, so in my circumstance, they try to pretend that it's criminal for an adult man to look at an adult woman. That's what they pretend to do in my. Because I'm 40, so granted, they're women in their early 20s, right? They have bodies that I die for, right? Like the bodies I love. Don't get me wrong, but their faces look so baby-like to me. So I would pretty much 30 or over is my age range, because their minds too, right? Like they're just not gonna be as deep. Because I was panhandling, I seen these Hooters girls, right? And I thought I'd like Hooters women for forever, right? Because of what they wear and all that stuff. But I hear this Hooters girl talk to a boy, well, a young guy her age, about 23. They're about 23, 24. And so she's talking to this guy, and every third word was like, and then and like, yay, Pep Squad. Right? That's all I basically got out of it. Right? So I was thinking, it's like, well, because she was attractive. I was like, well, she has a body that I'd want to have sex with, but I wouldn't want to have a conversation with her afterwards. Because I wouldn't be able to have a conversation other than chit chat, because I'm not going to know who the latest Pokemon is or whatever. To figure out what Pokemon's, right? Or whatever the shows they're into. Like, I'm 48, right? So ideally, like, I'm attracted to 48-year-old women. Women in their 40s, mainly. But a lot of women in their 40s are married or what have you, but they just don't have the energy level that I have. That's part of the reason why I would go with a younger woman, would be her energy level. Like my ex-wife, she'd be ready for bed at like 10 o'clock, and so I'd go tuck her in or whatever, and I'd be up for like another 4 or 5 hours, just ready to go. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and go skating. I would just wake up with so much energy about like 4 or 5 in the morning that I just had to work out. That's why I like those 24-hour gyms, because there's lots of people like that where you just wait. You might go to bed too early, and then you wake up just wide awake, and the whole world's sleeping, it seems, and or your whole world's sleeping, and like your family's sleeping or whatever, and your friends are sleeping, and so you just go. I used to just have a pair of skates in my trunk, and then if I was in a different city, I would just have an outdoor rink and I'd go skate. I just like that. Just love the sound of skating. I never really played too much, but I would say I did practice for about 3 weeks, and because I'm really athletic, and I'd say I was probably like maybe not skating backwards, but like skating forwards and all that. I would say I was probably almost like low-level OHL caliber player after 3 weeks of practice. Like because like we did do some pickup games, right? Like I did play some pickup games, but they were against kids, right? So I wasn't never trying. I never tried at all. The only time I tried was when I was by myself. But yeah, no, I was there was puck marks on the boards, and I was able to only with 3 weeks of ice practice, I was able to come within an inch or two of the puck marks on the boards. Just that accuracy. I made a triangle with my hips and my shooting hand, and basically, almost like when you square up in basketball, you have your shoulders pointing towards the basketball net. Then you're gonna make a good shot. So I basically squared up, and how my hips, my legs, and my arms were created basically a triangle that squared up and made me extremely accurate. Because like if you treat your base, because like when you're shooting, your legs or your feet are going to be typically slightly more than shoulder width apart for stability. like if you can't shoot with your legs super close together, like if your ankles are touching, right, you take a shot, it's gonna be such a wimpy, like a weakling shot. But you have your legs spread apart, it lowers your center of gravity, right, so it makes you more stable. I'm gonna work on a trick this year. I did it before, like I guess I was 36 at the time when I did it, but I had a hat that was on a 6-foot punching bag, and the punching platform wasn't really a punching bag, but you could put sand in the bottom and then punch the top, one of those ones. So I put it about 6 feet tall, because that's how tall I am. And then I put a hat on it, and I do a scissor kick. So I kick down with my left leg, I kick up with my right leg simultaneously, virtually, like, so I'm basically, both feet are almost 6 feet in the air at the same time. And then I kick the hat up, and then as it's rotating in the air, I'm trying to balance my body underneath it, and I made it land on my head. It took me 100 tries the first time, probably 105 tries to get it right. And then I think I did it 2 out of 5 times afterwards, because once I kicked the hat with my right foot, I'm no longer in control of it. That's what makes the trick so hard. It's like another trick I could do to hustle and make money is I could have a dime in my hand and then make you have a nickel in your hand, and I bet you I could grab that nickel before you close it. And 100% of the time, I'm going to be able to do that. And almost anybody can with quick reflexes, because it's easier to strike than close the hand. Right? Because you have to react when you're closing the hand. Like when you strike, and they're waiting for you to strike. Like when you strike, you're dictating the pace. You're the one that decides when you go. You're like, go, and then you go now. Right? So when I said go, you would have to react at the same time I decided to go. Right? So the person that goes, does the strike and has the advantage. But I could switch it with a dime. I could be secretly holding the dime in my hand, and they have a nickel in their hand, and then I grab the nickel easily. I could grab the nickel 100% of the time, but I can't always replace the dime in their hand, because once I let go of the dime, it's no longer in my control. So that's what makes the trick flawed. If not, I seen it on Bloodsport. Van Damme did it, and so I practiced it, several times throughout my life. And but if not, I'd be doing that all the time, because like guys, bravado, right? Bravado guys are gonna be like, no, he can't grab it, he can't do it. And I've only done the trick perfectly a couple times, but when you do it perfect, you have the dime in your hand, and you replace it with the nickel, so you get them to shake their hand so they could feel the coin in their hand. So then at that point, you'd want to be like, are you sure? Double or nothing. Right? Or you'd want to double the bet at that point. You switched it out. And then just win. But I figured out a real cool a bet that it's impossible for me to lose. I'll have a 100% success rate with this bet as long as they take the bet. All they have to do is take the bet, and they automatically lose. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's like I go to Chat GPT, and I'm like, it's a paradox, and they're like, it's not a paradox, and then I'm like, why is it not a paradox? As soon as they said it's not a paradox, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna prove that it is a paradox. Like, just as soon as they said it's not, it was like, it just bruised my pride and my ego intellectually. So it's like, I'm gonna prove that it's a paradox. So then I read the got them to give me the definition of paradox, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is that element of that definition, and this is that element of the definition. Then they're like, it's still not a paradox. But then, anyways, you'll have to watch the video. But I did end up getting them to say it was a paradox. Just because they couldn't see, well, when I first explained it, they couldn't see it from my perspective, or as deep as I seen it, and I assumed they would have been able to. Because it's supposed to be artificial intelligence, right? So it's supposed to be really smart. So back to poker. Let's see. Okay, I'm 14th out of 15 people remaining. That's all right. I need to win a pot, big time. It's nice to see that the Kings won. They were pre-flop. Okay, so this is I guess I'll have to draw the line in the sand, and hopefully I get lucky with my birth year hand. Ace 10, an actual flip. He has 3 aces and 3 tens. There's no straights, so now he's very, very limited. It's impossible for him to win now. He would have had to have a jack or a queen come on the turn to start making a straight. The only way he was going to be able to beat, he needed runner, and to make it straight. That's awesome. So I won that hand. So I'm 12th out of 13. But, this stage in the poker, right, like I was down to 700 chips. I won. I'm now at 1,700, so I'm doing good, right? So now if I double or triple up, if I triple up, I'll have about 5,300 chips, and basically be right back in the tournament. I'll stack. Well, I'd be third in chips at the table, and then I'm doing not too bad, right? So at this point in the tournament, you don't want to worry too much about you just got to win a hand, right? Like, just don't get stressed out. Just be like, yeah, I'm gonna win a hand. Hopefully I win the next hand I play. Yeah, I can't wait to sue the Canadian government. Like, recently, last in 2025, I represented myself 3 times in front of a board, and all 3 times my lawyer voted in favor for me. Two separate lawyers. I lawyer twice. It's just better. In fact, they wouldn't let me buy my transcripts from those particular hearings. They just gave me a hard time. I was, they'd be like, "Do you want this?" I'd be like, yeah, I want that. Just tell me what it is, and then a week later they respond. I even got the internet to say that a doctor was incompetent 5 different times by 5 different things he said. I'm a smart cookie, man. I'm very smart. Very smart. I got an extremely logical mind. Sure, there's lots of things I don't know, but officially, but logic is not one of them. I understand logic. So obviously, like, when I go to sue Canada, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do research. I'm gonna sit probably like weeks, sit in court cases and see the exact protocol. That's all I need to know is the protocol. They would probably want me to have an amicus, and that's a friend of the court, and that's all right because they could do the filing, the paperwork for me, but I could do all the interrogations, if you will, asking very specific questions that paint grander pictures they don't realize at that moment in time. And I'm probably gonna, during one court case, call witnesses that are gonna be secondary court cases, those individuals in the future. Well, I just want to get the testimony under oath first, and then show their own individual court case. So now in this tournament here, now it's going to get really fun because there's only 11 people left, so it's almost 5 people, and I got to win it very soon. I can't even really speculate. I need a fairly decent hand. It's 5-handed, right? So when it's 5-handed, you don't need a strong. Hand strength is all relative to the amount of people you have at the table, right? So when you have 9 people, you need a stronger starting hand and a stronger finishing hand. But with 5 people, you don't need to be as strict with your hands. You could open it up a little bit, especially with chips. If I had 12,000 chips, I'd be playing every hand. It wouldn't matter which cards I had. I'm gonna have to go with this because it's probably the best I'm gonna get. And the only move I had was to go all in and try to put a little bit of pressure so they would make a poor decision, like call with a weak hand. There's no bounty or anything like that, right? So there's really no strat. Like, you do want to knock out opponents, but you don't want to be like, if there's a bounty, then the guy with the 12,000 chips should automatically call almost, right? But without bounties, then you don't necessarily want to automatically call, but you do want to try to eliminate opponents when you have an opportunity to. But at the same time, if there's a strong opponent that is short stacked, and then they make a move, like they go all in, be a little bit apprehensive because you don't want to give them a chance to double up, right? And they wanted to go all in at that point, right? So they probably had a decent hand, right? So you want to try to put pressure on them when they didn't want to go all in. That's when you want to put pressure on. Because the guy with the 12,000 chips should be raising lots. Even bluffs, he should be making like 800,000 chip bluffs all the time, right? Like he has last position here, so like he should make a 600 chip bet. He played that wrong. He probably could have won that hand if he made a 600 chip bet there. Because now he let this person see possibly the king or the 10. The guy that bet either has the king or the 10, I would say, or the 5, or a very weak ace. Just a really conservative player. But this guy has a chance of losing the hand. He could have won it on the flop. He had position to bet, and his opponent's chip. He had the chip advantage. 600 chips to him isn't gonna make or break his day. Right, 600 chips for him was nothing to risk. Right, so you do have to throw your weight around bluffing when you have the chip lead sometimes. To win tournaments, you have to. So I've made 2 final tables on this site. I've won 1 tournament. I've played maybe 25 tournaments. Show them that I had these. It kind of sucks because I'm making hands and I'm not doubling up. So it's unlikely I'm going to win this tournament because when you need to be double, you're either splitting pots or just barely making anything. Luck isn't really. You're even though you're getting lucky because you're hitting hands, and you're getting unlucky, doubling up through those hands that people typically double up in, right? So it's kind of like a half luck situation. Frustrating at this point in the tournament when you're so short stacked. You're limited on how you can play. I virtually can't bluff. And bluffing's a big part of my game, right? So, oh, that's crazy. How did that happen? That was gonna. Last time I looked at the battery, there was 41%. Now it's like 26%. That's kind of strange. Because I came and plugged it in But if you watch the video, like the battery percentage over the last several minutes, see it's pretty abnormal. Okay. So I'm not quite lowest at the table. I'm the 3rd lowest. So it hasn't updated yet because there's 9 people remaining. So let's see. Go to payouts. Oh, only five places finishing the money. Okay, there's only 47 entries, that's why. Hey,
Hello.
how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. Just got some goodies for them.
Yeah. Oh my god. Granny? Granny?
I think that's an awesome name for a grandmother, Grammy. I called my grandmother. One of them I called Nanny, and she was from England, and my grandfather for her was Granddad. So it's a typical British way that you would refer, but then my mom was Danish. But in Denmark, it's kind of an awesome language because the way that you refer to somebody, you could tell how you're related to them,
Alright, I'll see you
right?
later.
So
Love you.
with my mom,
Christian.
see you later. With my mom, her parents it'd be my mother's father or my mother's mother is how the Danish say it, right? But my sister, she's passed away now, but she started calling my grandmother mom, basically. So then me and my brother, we started calling our grandmother mom. My brother didn't always call her mom. He called her moi, 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 or moi fa. But I always called her moi. So I called my mom, and I called my grandmother mom as well. And my grandfather fa, which is dad. So I called my grandparents mom and dad, basically. Oh, this sucks. Well, it's the final table. I have to go with it. Like, hopefully I get lucky, though. And I made the straight. I was hoping he didn't have the 8. That was the best case scenario. Or pardon me, the ace. I didn't have the ace or the straight. The straight was more unlikely. But yeah, I don't know much Danish, but
I just fell asleep too.
oh, did you? I wish I had more batteries so I could go outside for a smoke. But yeah, in Danish, I think even with your cousins, like the way that you refer to your cousins or your aunt and uncle, is you could tell how you're related to them. So it's kind of a cool way of doing it. Because it prevents you from asking questions, right? Because if somebody's like, "Oh, that's my mother's mother," right, or "That's my father's mother," so oh, okay, that's your mom's dad or your mom's mom, and that's your mom's mom or mom's dad. Right? So you know without having to ask a second question. Okay, nice. That guy's doing pretty good. So there's two players with over 20K. I'm gonna see the flop and then evaluate from there.
No, not yet.
I shouldn't have I shouldn't have checked spent money on the aces there. Because they had a poor kicker, right? And usually final table people are pretty like better than that. Like there's only 40 some players, right? So it's not really gonna be the strongest final table most likely, but ace 7 was I'd rather play the ace 4 than the ace 7 because at least the ace 4 you can make it straight. Ace 7 you can't make it straight with using both the ace and the 7. You have to use 4 other cards, right? Whereas with the ace 4 you can make it straight with 2-3-5. Right, to flop 2-3-5 you'd have the wheel is what they call it. So actually I'm just gonna pause this while I'm on break. Just got back from smoke, so missed a hand or two. What did I have? King 8. So good thing I didn't see that. That saved me from getting knocked out, really. Good thing I took an extra long smoke break. As soon as I seen it's so short stacked, right? So I would have made the king on the flop, but as soon as I had the 2 pair on the turn, I most likely would have went all in, even though I would have been apprehensive because there was a 10 on board, and king 10 is a common hand that people play. All right, so whenever there's a common, like if you see king 10, king jack, king queen on the flop, there's a higher probability of seeing a 2 pair type of hand because those are hands people play. Just like ace jack, ace king, ace queen. If you see those on the flop, right, then there's a high probability of somebody having 2 pair. And if you see aggression, just say the flop was 9 high. Just say it was 9-2-7, and then somebody goes all in. They typically have ace 9 or pocket 10s, pocket jacks, pocket queens, pocket kings, pocket aces. Right. So depending on how aggressive they were beforehand, right? If they're not aggressive beforehand, then they show aggression, right? Then you might want to fold. But if they're aggressive all the time, and then you basically ideally want to wait for 2 pair or 3 of a kind when they make that move, and then punish them for it, because they almost certainly have top pair in that scenario. And heads up, there's something like unless they have a flush draw, like they're about a 70% favorite. I wanted to play, but I don't have any chips to play. I don't have enough chips to speculate. So go to change.org. You could be a hero / you could be a hero, no spaces, and sign the petition, stop brain computer interface, and then which makes so online poker isn't rigged anymore. And pro sports, if you think pro sports is real, then you gotta sign the petition and make it so pro sports will be real, right? Because there's if you were to take a Gauss or Tesla reading in Canada, particularly, you're gonna see that there's a magnetic field that controls and manipulates players' movements, so it makes it so pro sports isn't real. It's rigged, right? It's atrocious. It sucks, right? Wrestling's supposed to be have a storyline. Basketball's not supposed to have a storyline. Football, baseball, hockey, they're not supposed to have storylines. You're supposed to have a salary cap, and then the general manager, and then the coach. Whoever the general manager is supposed to be the person that the talent, they get the talent. Then the coach develops the talent. It's that simple. They have the salary cap to make it so teams like the New York Yankees can win like 10 World Series in a row. Without the salary cap, New York Yankees is such a profitable franchise that they would be like, some players would make more than some teams would. In the past, that's happened. Like Alex Rodriguez, I think, was making $27 million per season, and the Kansas City Royals were making $25 million. Right. And sports isn't supposed to be handicapped. If you want to handicap sports, you play golf. Professional athletes are supposed to be they're supposed to be allowed to be as good as they naturally are. People, not modifying people that suck to appear to be professional athletes. Okay, well, it comes down to the next hand here. I need to get lucky. Well, I need somebody to go out the hand, and then I finish in the money. But it looks like I'm going to finish on the bubble. On the bubble is the last position before you'd make money. Just play money, right? But you always the goal is to always be a finish in the money. Finish in the final table, and then podium finish. Hindsight, this tournament is, I shouldn't have played Ace 7 and Ace 4 back to back. That cost me, about less than 2,000 chips, but over 1,000 chips, right? Which I could use at this point, right? Instead of having to make a decision with my hand with only 1,000 chips, I'd have 2,000 chips. So it'd be like, okay, I'm more likely to fold. Because you always end up with superhero hands like this when you need it. It's just how poker goes. Right? Everybody's hoping when they're short stacked to get pocket aces, right? You do occasionally, but usually you end up with horse shit like this. Let's see. And I completely whiffed. Not completely. Like there's some hope for me, but nice. So it would have been a chop pod, and I got my bluff through. Well, there's an expression where a euphemism for fellatio is an expression. I'd rather live on my feet than die on my knees. Meaning, I beg rather than perform fellatio figuratively. Best thing about being 48, you know a whole bunch of analogies. So he has 3 kings. Well, I have 1 heart, so he has 1 less heart. 3 kings. So there's 44 cards, so 41 are good for me. Well, I guess it wasn't. There was 39 were good for me because 2 would have been, if the 9 came, he would have had a chop pot on the river. Well, it's not bad for me. Only 3 were bad for me, right? I would have lost. The chop pot in that scenario is almost like a loss, but it's still a win. Like whenever you're the favorite and you chop pot, like it sucks at that point. But when you're the underdog at chop pot, then it's fantastic. Because whenever you're the underdog and you end up doing the chop pot, most of the time it should feel like your hand was caught in the cookie jar, and you got lucky that it was a chop pot. People shouldn't be like talking about skill level when they chop pot things. They shouldn't be bragging how well they played a hand if it resulted in a chop pot. So it's all right. I'm hanging in this tournament. It's not too bad. I could end up winning this. You never know. That's usually how it goes. You just hang around, and then you end up winning it. Even if you don't win it, you go deeper, right? Just by but really, I don't have the chips to be as sticky in a hand as I'd like to. Like, they can.
You got the money on you because he's on his way.
Yep. Because it works better for me just because packs are hard to come by, right? So, like, the money is...
Yep, that's fine.
So now they're getting really short stacked. This player here, they have to win this pot. Their desperation must be sinking in. Good luck, short stack. I did see this 5-handed tournament on TV. It was fantastic. It just seemed to last forever. And, the 5th grade side just kept on hanging in there. It seemed to go on for hours. It was fantastic. My favorite tournament to watch. I forget who was in the tournament. There were a lot of players that were they were famous in about 2017 to 2019 because all the videos I watched on I'd watch videos on Twitch. You can watch players on Twitch, right? Like Twitch is a platform. It is pretty good. Like there's features that I do like on it, but the players on Twitch, they typically play many tables, like say 10, 15 tables at once, and so they only know how to play a certain range of hands. They don't know how to play the whole deck. right? Like, whereas like the way I play, like I play the whole deck, right? If you had to, if they say, if they were to say, what's your favorite 2 cards? I'd be like, any 2 cards, the 2 winning cards, right? Because pocket aces aren't always the winners. Like this hand here, let's see what this hand here is. We'll see what it is. So like 2, 3 of hearts would have been the best 2 cards for that hand. Right, so it's all that wasn't the highest possible, but 2, 3 of hearts would have been the best. Like if somebody had 2, 3 of hearts that time, they would have had the best hand for that particular board, as long as nobody had a higher flush. But so in that regard, right, like your favorite 2 cards should just be the 2 winning cards for the biggest pot you've ever played for, probably. I win more off of 7 deuce than I do pocket aces. There's an app. I don't know if I don't have my memory card in. So I don't think I have the screenshot. I'll just check real fast after this hand if I'm not participating in it. I think I. But this other app I won with pocket deuces like many times, like over 30, over 40, maybe over 60 times out of 37,000 hands. I don't believe this guy whatsoever. Kings. I need a 5 now at this point. That's a nice hand. So I finished on the bubble. That's alright. Now, just gonna pause it and see if I can find that screenshot. No, I couldn't find the screenshot. I do have it on a memory card, so I'll end up finding it. You know, on that particular app, there was 10 million downloads, and my highest ranking was 212th on the app.